Thoughts, because we had that, I guess, disappointment play out when it comes to the reaction in the stocks and Apple bonds as well. But your takeaways from the unveiling?
Well, it was more or less as expected, and I think that when they don't have anything new, anything that wasn't leaked, then you can kind of understand the stock reaction, which wasn't much, but a little bit negative. I think that there was a couple other pieces that weren't quite flushed out beforehand, and specifically the availability of the iPhone 10. That's going to be about a month and a half later than what I was expecting, so there's going to have to be some adjustments to analyst estimates over the next few weeks to try to accommodate that. But beyond that, it was relatively as expected, but that doesn't take away from the thunder here, which is Apple announced several great products.
As expected, and I think as you're alluding to, you don't see it as being underwhelming. Is it going to be overwhelming enough for it to regain market share in places like China?
The China piece may be difficult just because it's slightly more sensitive in terms of the price market. Obviously, there's a high-end consumer in China that will have no problem with these more expensive phones, but the overall price of a phone, if you look at the collective family, did inch up today. And so I think that in order for that particular segment to really catch fire again, I think they really need to put the hammer down on the whole augmented reality theme, something that is just kind of that X factor. I don't know if the phone delivered on that, but I do know that it's going to deliver on returning the iPhone to comfortable, call it 10 to 15% growth.
Right, so, it didn't necessarily deliver on the X factor. I mean, the X factor is kind of priced in the price, though, right? It's a $1,000 phone. Do you think that's going to be something that people other than your diehard Apple aficionados would be happy to pay?
I think that they will for this reason, is that if you look at the phones and compare, for example, the iPhone 8 to the iPhone 10, the iPhone 10 just looks more futuristic, and we haven't really had a nice futuristic hardware upgrade for the past 3 years. And so that's important to consumers, that something feels like it's kind of the next level. And then separately is that more consumers, our best guess is around 20% of them today, are buying their iPhones on monthly plans. And if you look at the cost, assuming a 2-year ownership of a phone, it comes out to be about 25 to 35 cents per day in the U.S. And so I think that this the $1,000 sticker shock isn't as intimidating once you start to think about the total cost over 2 years.